Isn't it a wonder that the poorest country in the whole world is also the wealthiest? The Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the most notable countries in Africa, and giant of its own, prides itself for being the largest country in Africa, only behind Algeria, and is about 3 times the size of Turkey, or slightly less than 1/4 of the US. Embroidered with natural resources, a fine climate, and a large population, the country has risen to be one of the most iconic countries in the whole world in terms of natural privileges and the economic condition. You must have heard the paradox bittersweet. Well, get set, a new one is about to hit the encyclopedia, and it's all thanks to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The word will be something like rich impoverished. Being the largest country in Sub-Saharan Africa, DR Congo is endowed with exceptional natural resources, including minerals such as cobalt and copper, hydropower potential, significant arable land, immense biodiversity, and the world's second-largest rainforest. Yet the country ranks among the 5 poorest nations in the world. In fact, in 2021, it was revealed that about 64% of Congolese, which is a little below 60 million people, lived on less than $2 a day. Now, over 80% of Congolese live on less than $1.25 a day, defined as the threshold for extreme poverty. Also, 1 out of 6 people living in extreme poverty in Sub-Saharan Africa live in DR Congo. Yet this poverty-stricken nation is the richest country in Africa in terms of natural resources. According to the United States of America Geological Survey, the Democratic Republic of Congo sits on natural resources worth over $24 trillion, which is the largest in Africa by a long, long mile. These natural resources include the biggest coltan reserve in the world, one of the largest deposits of cobalt, gold, tin, copper, and diamond in the world, and tantalum, a metal used in smartphones and other electronics. Surveys have also revealed that the country sits on top of over 1 million tons of lithium. It's rather shocking that despite the vast mineral wealth Congo houses, it still manages to be one of the poorest countries in the world. The Democratic Republic of Congo is so endowed that at one time there were well over 25 international mining firms in the country carrying out different types of mining operations. This incredible wealth that the DRC sits on should have made the country and her people to be the Saudi Arabia of Africa, but the reverse is the case. The country's wealth drains into very few pockets while the rest are left to languish on emptiness. Like a stigma, if you search for the poorest countries in the world, in whatever parameters are used in ranking, you will always find the DRC on the list, and it has been for a long, long time. What is the cause of such a disturbing condition, you may wonder? Well, there are a lot of causes. For one, instability is the major culprit. The country has experienced years of wars and political unrest. This is one of the most significant causes of poverty in the DRC, leading to alarming rates of youth unemployment. Why should there be wars in the country? You see, the much revered treasures of the nation have posed to be a curse and the very downfall of the nation. These raw mineral ores, which are estimated to be over $24 trillion, have been the driving force for one of the world's most devastating conflicts since World War II, leading to the killing of about 10,000 civilians in a month. Apart from the deaths, corruption in the mining industry has led to extreme losses in revenue in billions of dollars. According to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, it's been concluded that the conflicts have caused a deterioration in the standards of living in the country, evidence being that households in war-torn areas spend less money per person for daily expenses than those in more peaceful areas. Congo's post-conflict mining law was designed by the World Bank years ago, and to date, the country has refused to rise to economic expectations. Again, it's suggested that the problem is political instability. The bank, like other external observers, concentrates on the wars that have shaken the DRC and the entire Great Lakes region of Africa since the 1990s. But the fact remains that the DRC, like many other countries in Africa, has much older problems. These problems are rooted in the colonial period, when the continent was treated as a mere ground for raw materials. Ruthless Belgian colonialism killed off millions of Congolese, stealing off their natural resources and leaving little or nothing behind for the people. When the Belgians finally relinquished their hold on the Congo in 1960, there were just 16 graduates. No, not 16% of the population, but a unit of 16 people in the whole nation were graduates. There was not even one Congolese doctor, economist, or engineer. High-level education was outrightly stolen from the past generations of Congolese. This was the beginning of the problem. After gaining independence, the people tried to drive their own agenda. This was led by Congo's first democratically elected Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba. However, they were confronted and stopped. The United States overthrew and assassinated Lumumba. Subsequently, the West installed and maintained Mobutu Sese Seko in power for over 3 decades. Mobutu worked in agreement with Western monopoly firms to steal raw materials as long as he was given his share of the wealth. Plunder is the word that describes Congo's colonial history and even its post-colonial present. This disturbing structure, set by the Belgians, was developed by Mobutu and his Western sponsors and endures to this day. The Africa Progress Panel reported that between 2010 and 2012, Congo's state mining firm, Geka Mines, sold mining concessions for about $1.4 billion less than their market value. With the DRC's annual budget being about $6 billion, the loss of revenue from those concessions is therefore a serious penalty. It's this free-for-all attitude toward Congo's resources that defines its problems. It's this culture of plunder that enables monopoly firms, many of them Canadian, to extract raw materials at rock-bottom prices. Political corruption has denied the country the development as international mining companies cart all the wealth away. Some of these companies don't pay taxes, as corrupt government officials help them out. Some time ago, an article was released featuring a government source who gave accounts of how the mining companies were cheating the Congolese. According to the source, only 5% of taxes owed by mining companies were ever collected by the government. This is because when the mining companies receive a tax bill, they simply reach out to their contacts in the government, all the way up to cabinet-level positions in the country's Ministry of Finance. These contacts go on to give instructions and directives that prevent the companies from paying taxes. In order to earn money for daily upkeep, most citizens resort to carrying out artisan mining with the hope of getting a diamond they can sell to earn money. Is there hope for an improvement in the controversial economic situation of this nation? Very soon, a new political leader will be elected. While some people believe that this will bring a change in the economic relations of the DRC with the business world, others believe such change is impossible. They don't want change. They want the status quo. The culture of plunder works well for monopoly capitalism, outside sources say. Yet the people of the Congo scratch and claw for an alternative. They live in abject poverty which has become unbearable. The leaders, in a bid to escape confrontation, insist that the country is an emerging continent and yet do nothing to make the country what it should be. The youth, on the other hand, can't afford despair. They are ready to fight as they find it intolerable that the richest country in the world is also the poorest. The contradiction is too extreme. The youth protests that have continued in recent times aim to overcome that contradiction, to break the culture of plunder. They will liberate Africa. That is their audacious promise to the continent. The DRC's incredible mineral wealth holds the potential of transforming the country's economy and lifting millions of its citizens out of poverty. However, to fully benefit from these natural resources, the country must address the challenges it faces, including political instability, corruption, and poor governance. By improving its governance and investing in other sectors, the country can direct its mineral wealth to foster economic growth and development. A flourishing Congo will be a huge benefit to Africa and the whole world at large. However, with all said and done, is it possible? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Until next time.